Okay, welcome back to the channel. Back on the Subaru. First thing you'll notice, we got the spoiler back on. So the boot has not been repaired yet, unfortunately, but I had the spoiler laying on top of a box with some sheets over it there next to the mill, and I was just worried about getting knocked or scratched because the spoiler itself, there's a few bits that need, you know, polishing out as per a lot of the car. There's bits of dirt in the paint, blah blah blah, but I wanted to put it on the car to make sure that's the safest place for it. Put it in the car. I put new nuts that join it together here. They're M10 nuts with a swivel washer captive built into it. And then for the spoiler to the boot, because this boot lid's going to have to be repaired, possibly painted, I haven't sealed up the area fully, so I put no sort of sealant between the boot and the spoiler. I just kind of want it secure, so it's all bolted down. And what I've got, hold it up there, we've got nice new M10, so they're the original Subaru style, so they're M10 nut with a captive swivel washer, and then what I bought was rubber pads that go below each one. So even though it's not bonded to the boot, there should be absolutely zero water ingress between the spoiler and the boot and inside the boot. The only bit I'm a little bit concerned about is around here, but this does have a rubber built into the spoiler anyway, so that should be okay. We should be good. So if you look in there, they're the nuts with the little rivet, and these, try and get a better view of them. These there are just M6 rubber washers, they call them. So they're a little bit bigger than the nut, so they spread the load nicely and should stop any water coming through. And my spoiler, because it's the earlier type, doesn't use the same fixings as a lot of the new age. When I bought this, I was completely unaware, but although this is a genuine Subaru spoiler, and I didn't show you, but underneath it's got made in Japan, blah blah blah, it's a genuine spoiler. Evidently it's off the early type. Don't know if it's a bug eye. Reason same why it's got these caps that go on here. It's genuine, but I've been told it's an early spoiler. A little bit annoyed because it's not the one that was pictured when I actually bought it. They gave me a different one when I got there, and unfortunately I was unaware of the difference. So it's bolted down, it's nice and secure, and just having that on there, I just love the look of it. Absolutely love the look of having the spoiler on there. So I bolt it on so that it's safe, and the fact that there's no sealer is that if they need to paint the bumper, which I'm pretty sure one way or another they will do, they can take it off just by doing the nuts, and then you can see the car cover fitting a bit better there. But anyway, what we're on to now is, obviously we fitted the engine the other night. Now we're going into the clutch setup. So I had a Google, because the first thing I said after fitting the engine to the gearbox was you want to push the clutch lever or pull it towards you. No, you want to push it away from you so it engages in the clutch. Then it's a pull style clutch. So it has to get pushed in to pull the clutch to make sure you've got a clutch pedal. Because I've got the slave off, new lines, etc., there's no fluid in there for me able to get in the car and test the actual pedal. So I need to bleed the clutch. Done a little bit of research, found out how the best way to bleed it is, and we are set up for that now. I didn't want to show you the ins and outs of how, you know, getting everything ready, but I'm going to show you the setup we've got. So I'm lucky in my workshop, I've got a massive screw compressor for the machines, and we've got a vacuum bleeder here. So this runs just off the airline and goes up and connects onto the bleed nipple on top of the slave cylinder. Now what the Subaru says to do is you actually disconnect the slave, you clamp the push rod as far as it will go in, so you compress it with some sort of clamp and then keep it so the nipple is in the upright position, so it's around about the same height or higher as this over here. So it's probably around the max height, the actual nipple there, so it's going to be the highest point of the system. Now we have got a bleed nipple on there as well, and I'll do that one afterwards. So for the minute, we've got the fluid topped off. There's a lot of shadow. You've got the fluid topped off in the cylinder there. And all I'm doing, because again, I'm on my own doing it, this makes it real easy, and this is the way I've bled everything on all my cars. I'll just open that up. Can't see it because of the sun glare, but I'll watch that go down. This is bleeding out. Don't know if you can catch it there. This is going to bleed out any air in the system. Shut it off before it gets to minimum, because again, you don't want to, if you drop below minimum, the chances are you're going to suck in some more air. And then just keep this topped up. And I'm probably going to flush through more than what is required, just to make sure we're clear of the air. So once this one's done, I will lock off the bleed nipple on the slave. I'll bolt the slave back to the gearbox, and then what I'll do is I'll do the same setup, but I'll put the vac hose onto the nipple on the master cylinder. I'll fill the fluid res up, and again I'll crack the nipple open, let it draw out any air that's in there, and then at the same time I'll slowly push the pedal, and then fingers crossed that'll be the air out the system. We'll get the slave bolted back to the gearbox, and we should, if everything's okay, we should have a clutch pedal, fingers crossed. If something's not okay, that means engine back off and double check what's going wrong, worst case scenario. So yeah, I'm just going to go ahead and do that. I'll bring you back in a second when we're doing the master cylinder. Okay, so I've bled the slave over here as much as I'm going to. Put about 4 fills of the main res over. So now, if you look down there, I've switched the vac nipple onto the one on the master cylinder, and we've topped the reservoir back up with fluid. Now you're about as high as I can get you on the tripod at the minute, so I can't do much else in that sense. Sorry about the compressor noise, but with the vacuum bleeder going, that's about as good as it's going to get. So again, I'm going to watch the cylinder to make sure we don't drop near or below the minimum. I'll open this up. See the fluid start to go down. I'm just going to do it like this first off. I'm going to do basically 1 pot of fluid as it is. Then I'll lock it off. That's locked off again. Now I'm going to top up right to the top. Be careful not to overfill or spill any brake fluid on your car, whether it's old on you. You don't want brake fluid on any of your paint. Now I'm going to go into the car and I'll crack the lever open, and then I'll slowly push the pedal. You don't want to go too quick, because you'll probably, if you go quickly, chances are you're going to splurge the fluid out of the reservoir. So by going a bit slower, hopefully we don't do that, because I don't ideally want to get brake fluid all over the car, or anywhere for that matter. So that's open. One pedal push, just making sure we didn't go too far and mess anything up. Two pedal push, and let's lock it off before it drops down to minimum. Locked off there. So that only took from the top of the res down to the max line, so we're going to do that much again. Right, that'll do. I'll crack the bleed nipple again. There we go. And I'll do 2 more pushes of the pedal. That's it. Back in to lock it off. Nice and tight on both of them. And I'm going to call that done and give the pedal a go. So we'll take this off and I will turn that off, get the slave bolted back onto the gearbox and the clamp off, and we'll see what sort of pedal we got. So I'll bring you back in a sec. Okay, so we've taken the hose off. I swapped it over for the little suction hose and dropped that down to the max, just because I didn't want to push the pedal and anything comes over the top. We've bolted our slave back to the gearbox, and I just wanted to look there, and you want to make sure the rod end, the end of the rod of the slave cylinder goes into the divot, the hole on the clutch fork here, to make sure it stays in place when you're pushing the pedal. If not, it may well move. So with that all being good, we should, I don't think I'm that dusty and dirty, we should then be able to come into the car, and we should now, it feels like we got pedal, feels a little bit spongy. I think we've got a pedal. Whether I have to bleed it again or not is another matter, but that is the procedure for bleeding the clutch. Now, maybe what would be good to do is, once the car's fully up and running again and I've got someone else with me, because the same dramas as I said about being on your own, is potentially I'd like to have somebody else pushing the pedal like 10, 15 times maybe, whilst I'm topping up the fluid slightly, just to make sure it doesn't go down, rather than me coming out of the car, walking round back in, walking round back in. If we've got 2 of us here, we can do that, so I can get someone to do that at some point. But I'm pretty confident that we've got a clutch pedal and we're good to carry on assembling the car. There's not much else I've done. This is a short and sweet update. Bleeding the clutch on a EJ20 blobeye. So yeah, we haven't done anything else. I think I got a couple of hoses. I put on the power steering, a new power steering return and feed with all new clips there, new washer up the top, and then I pulled the front bumper back out earlier, and I've actually been putting an HT Autos splitter on it. So I already had the winglets and the STI covers, because it's an STI bumper. Probably can't see the greatest there, but I've just put the HT Autos splitter on it. It's a pretty good fit. It's not perfect, but I think that was around £140. And if you get a genuine STI front lip spoiler, DL Motorsport do have them in stock and they do sell them, but they're 500 plus VAT and delivery. So it works out about £640. And for something that's probably going to get damaged pretty quick when you're driving, especially on the UK roads, I don't want to pay that. If that gets damaged on the splitter and it's 140, I'll either take it off, or you can, you know, for that money, you can buy a few of them for the price of one. And because this car's not so much a show car, it will be used in general use, I don't want to spend that on it. So yeah, short update, bleed the clutch, WRX, there you go. Like and subscribe if you like the content, and we'll see you again soon.